And now, okay, so let's go to the needle. I played a clip from you, honestly, I think it was about a year and a half ago when you was talking about cats on the juice, and you was like, hey, man, these are big boys up here. That'd be murder if I end up taking the juice and I ain't mess around and kill somebody.
Exactly.
Now, you taking your life, you're putting your life on the line. Boxing's the only sport you don't play. And you're putting your life on the line every time you step on the ring, and for that, you deserve the utmost respect for entertainment and for your own being able to take care of your family. Guys now are coming up. This is 3 in a row, right? 3 cats in a row who have come up dirty on your watch. What
Correct.
can we do as fans? Can we write a petition? What can we do to make sure that the sport gets cleaned up? I'm looking at all these undefeated records. King Kong Ortiz, undefeated. Joseph Parker, undefeated. Everybody's trying to protect this record so much that they're literally willing to cheat directly, beyond just the judges. They should see. That's what I think. I think they should get a loss on their record.
Yeah.
Now, what can we do to ensure these individuals are being clean?
Well, now y'all bring a good point about put the loss on the record. I ain't thought about that one. Now that one is a good one right there. I think they should do that. I'm a talk. See, can I put that in consideration and put it in somebody's ear for that one? Now they should be on, because a lot of them try to protect their records and try to, but they use that PED to get a boost. You know what I mean? What they want to do is they want to use, and then they want to use and abuse, because you definitely abuse your body doing this stuff. And then after they win, they want to look themselves in the mirror and say, I did it.
Right.
I'm a champion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I you know what I'm saying? Which you really didn't do nothing. You had a buddy to help you out. Right. But, man, it's but the thing about it, I think another thing, not only just taking that record, putting that making that, put a loss on their record, but I also think that they should do more with the extension of the suspension thing, because 6 months, come on, man, that ain't nothing.
It ain't enough.
That's more. That's equal out to you
one
being
fight.
Injured.
Yeah, that equals exactly. That's like you breaking your hand. How you broke your hand against a Mexican homie from Riverside.
Yeah,
there you go.
But you got to put like 2 years on them, right? 2 years would probably be better.
Put 2 years on them. Put a high fine. Maybe put $100K on there.
Yeah,
I mean,
and an L.
28,000. That ain't, and an L. But also and then when you become a second offender, a third offender, you should do a year in prison, man.
You gonna lock him up?
Wow,
you going hard in the face. You gonna lock him up?
That'll get their attention. That'll get their attention, because think about it. You putting something in your body to harm another person.
You actually
know
are,
what I mean?
especially in the big boys. Especially with the big boys.
Especially with the big boys, with these 10-ounce gloves on. And keep in mind, your head is not meant to be hit in the first place.
Right.
And now you're trying to do something. And I always look at myself with all the attributes and the things that come with me. Imagine if I put something in my body.
Nah, come on, man. That ain't right.
I'm finna kill somebody.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's real. Hey.
Put them on me, put the cameras on me, Put them on me, put the cameras on me, I'm coming clutch, no stick shift. OZone is my witness. An icon like icons. Keep your eyes on the miss. Wait, what is this? A lot of pressure on me, but you don't know me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the OZone. I am your host, Omar Miller. I'm here with my brother from the same mother, Terry Miller, and we got an action-packed show for you today. I'm so excited, I don't even know what to do with myself. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Series is upon us, and it's almost over. And if you listened to the OZone last week, you may think that we are ultimately Negro-Damas because the series has played out exactly a combination of what the icons and myself have predicted would happen.
Yes, very much so.
And we want to speak on that. Game 6 is about to start in a couple hours. Could be night-night for the Dodgers, or it could not be, and it could be heading for an epic showdown of a Game 7 with all hands on deck. And then we have a real milestone for the OZone. One thing that we love is welcoming new members to the OZone family. We got the heavyweight champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen. We have Deontay Wilder that's waiting in the wings.
Hello.
Bomb Squad! He's ready. He's ready to drop the ones and twos on the microphone and let us know what's going on in the heavyweight division. We got Next Victim calling in with the college report. And I hear out on the streets of America, we got Trucker Dave ready to talk about the NFL. But let's start off with our favorite sport, a game so fine it is played on diamonds. That's Major League Baseball, folks. The Dodgers are down 3-2 in what happened to be the greatest sporting event that I personally ever witnessed that happened last Sunday night. How about that Game 5?
Woo, how about the whole series?
How about the
Forget
series?
The series is bananas.
Toe-to-toe, pound for pound. Give me the top 3 things that have gone wrong that you are surprised about.
Being surprised about is not.
Maybe not surprised about.
Yeah.
Just things that. Let's talk about the managers. Let's talk about the top 3 things that each manager has done wrong.
They've done a lot of stuff right.
They sure have.
And so it's hard to
Well,
knock.
let's start with the positive.
Yeah,
then.
it's hard to knock the stuff that they've done wrong. First of all, I think that one of the things they've done wrong is start for your boy Roberts is start Rich Hill. That's first and foremost. And I'm still not a crazy fan of Logan Forsythe, although he is getting the job done.
Logan Forsythe is balling. I can't front on Logan.
And then you talk about with Jock Pederson, that's a great move that it actually is paying off for them.
Dave Roberts pushes the right buttons.
He pushed the right
unbelievable. Jock Pederson had a terrible second half of the season.
He had a terrible first half.
He did, to the point where
he went down to the minors.
At the stadium, the rumors were that Jock Pederson may not even be on the roster at the beginning of next year.
Yes.
And Jock Pederson stepped up in game 2, popped up in the lineup out of nowhere. People were like, Jock Pederson starting? And Jock Pederson hits a bomb off of Justin Verlander in a situation where, by the way, we were there. Justin Verlander had total domination over the Dodgers at that point. Yeah. They looked very, very intimidated. They didn't look like they were in the game, and they were only down 1-0, and it looked like they were down 10, and it felt like they were down 10-0. Right. And Dave Roberts has pushed that button right. Now, one thing that I feel like has happened in this series with both of these young managers is there's been some panic that has happened.
Like bringing Brandon Morrow back in?
Why do we need to what's wrong with Tony Cingrani?
Yeah, or bringing Kenley Jansen in a non-closing situation?
Let's speak on that because Alex Bregman brought that up when he hit the bomb off of Kenley Jansen in Game 4 in a game that was 6-1. 6-1. There's no reason for Kenley Jansen to be in the game. It's under control.
Yes.
And you bring in Kenley Jansen, Alex Bregman takes him yard, and then you fast forward to the end of the greatest game maybe ever played, and Alex Bregman talks about what happened at the plate.
You look comfortable against Kenley Jansen. Is that possible?
I wouldn't say that. He's a stud. He's got great stuff, and honestly was just trying to square a ball up, and I didn't think he'd throw me the slider because I hit it last night. So I was up there looking only for that cutter and trying to get it down so I could stay on top. He gets a lot of fly balls, so I was trying to stay on top of it.
So you're as the inning is unfolding in front of you, and eventually you go, I'm going to have a chance to win this. When did it start registering as the inning was unfolding for you?
With this lineup, anybody can win it. And you saw McCann hit a big homer that really, now looking back on it, saved the game. And if he didn't win it and Springer didn't win it, I thought I'd have a shot. And as soon as they walked Springer, I took one final swing, and I looked in the dugout, and Correa said, let's go, it's you, let's go.
Man, Major League Baseball is the best. The World Series is the best. I think one thing that they did wrong as well is A.J. Hinch stuck with Ken Giles as his guy, and when it was clear to everybody in the world that Ken Giles wasn't going to get it done.
And this is not the time to stick with the guy who brought you there. Because Ken Giles actually has lost his confidence.
He's lost his confidence. And even,
and his stuff.
And he completely lost his stuff.
Because he's throwing 100-mile-an-hour straight fastball.
Very flat. And it's interesting because if I'm A.J. Hinch, I use Francisco Liriano for one inning as my new closer. I think Francisco Liriano could still close if you tell him, listen, blow it out, throw that change up, and blow it out, and that's all we got. This is what we're going for.
Where there's a few guys in his bullpen that he should have used earlier, and they wouldn't have been as rusty, like Colin McHugh.
Yeah, who had been pitching well.
Yeah, and Luke Gregerson. Colin McHugh shut down the Yankees. If he shuts down the Yankees, I definitely believe he can shut down the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. So I don't know with the latest with that, but as far as the series itself goes, pretty much every game has been tight late.
Right.
There's the only games that even the game that ended up lopsided was tight late. I mean, we're seeing 2 games going to extra innings. We're seeing both closers get jumped on. Now everybody's eyes are tuned in. Everybody's eyes are airtight. There's no surprises coming out of anybody's bullpen, and I have to say that really negates the Dodgers' clear advantage in this series.
their advantage has been taken away because their bullpen got decimated the last 2 games. So they don't really have an advantage anymore.
They needed a rain delay tonight.
They needed something to stop the bleeding because right now they're in a bad way. I don't think that they're going to win today.
It's going to be very difficult to think that Rich Hill's going to outpitch Justin Verlander.
Yeah, now they should bring in Yu Darvish.
I agree. To me, I would go Rich Hill and Darvish. Rich Hill, Darvish, Jansen would be the ideal scenario.
Well, now Ken Lee threw almost 40 pitches the other night.
Yeah, that was 2 days ago. All hands on deck.
For some reason, closers can't throw every day.
For some reason.
Yeah.
He could throw every day when he was a catcher.
Yeah, or when he was a kid. Now all of a sudden,
when he was a catcher as an adult. He
right,
was,
but I'm talking about now you get millions and now I can't throw every day.
Very bizarre. That's a whole different conversation. But yes, and then Game 7, I go Wood, Kershaw, anybody else that's necessary because then everybody's back 100%.
Right.
Watson, Chingrani, Maeda, all of them. I'm very interested to see what happens tonight. This is the last hurrah for the Dodgers. It's a little misty out here in L.A., folks. And what's interesting is the first game I went to at Dodger Stadium this year was a World Baseball Classic game that was played in the rain. And this could potentially be the same setting for the last game of the season.
Right.
Which is something poetic about that.
Now, if the Dodgers don't win this, what would you do to this squad? Would you implode it? What would you do?
No. I mean, this Dodger squad is among the best in baseball, if not the best in baseball. There's nothing that you do except for maybe make a more clear delineation so that you don't have to plug and play as much. So I think it's probably the end of the road for Andre Ethier, even though Andre Ethier came in and gave you a very professional at bat the other night. That was clutch, that led to that rally. It was a big piece of the key of that rally. Mm-hmm. I think you do that. I think that the bullpen is pretty tight. I think you got to figure out what you're doing with the starters. They signed Rich Hill for 3 years. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I mean, if you look at his record, you can't front on Rich Hill. I understand what you're saying, but you can't front on Rich Hill. I talked to a slugger at the stadium, and he said, yeah, Hill is very interesting. I've never really had an uncomfortable at bat against him, but at the same time, you look up and you're 0 for 3 against him. He has that effect. It's very interesting.
But he's not a guy that I can trust in World Series like that. And although they're trusting him tonight, and
you have to trust him tonight.
Yeah, but they didn't trust him really in the first time he pitched because they snatched him out of there ASAP. As soon as he looked like because he was in trouble almost every inning. So they ended up grabbing him early and going to the bullpen, which you have to do. I commend him, because
I commend Dave Roberts because he's no nonsense.
Yeah.
Dave Roberts, Ross Stripling came in and walked a guy on 4 pitches out of the bullpen, and Dave Roberts' seat didn't even get cool from him getting off of it, and he went right back out there and was like, "You're not ready, son."
And what's even trippier than that is that he doesn't even make eye contact with him. He's like,
get out the game.
Give me that ball,
Give
man.
me the ball. Bring it to the lefty, please, mine. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that I actually, like I said in our preview of the World Series, I wanted the Dodgers, but I feared the Astros would win in 6. Hopefully I'm not right. But
hopefully I am.
I'm sure. But we will see shortly. Because the other thing that I've seen is George Springer has turned it on for them in a way that's been incredible. They stopped being able to get George Springer out after midway through the second game. And ever since then, he's been giving them fits.
It's not even midway through the second game. It was like literally his first at bat in the second game. He started walking. He took his walk.
He took a walk.
He took a walk and reset
him, and then he hit a bomb.
And then it was all on after that.
It's been on.
And for me, he's the MVP of their team so far. And
I'm going with Altuve, but Altuve dead center bomb was very Jeter-esque.
But he's George Springer tied the game up off of Brandon Morrow first pitch out of the stadium.
But the reason he tied him up is because he had tricked in center field.
Yeah, but he picked him up so much before that. Come on, man, double down the line, walk.
Now let's talk about home runs, because the biggest home run of the series, in my opinion, other than the Marwin Gonzalez home run against Kenley Jansen, was that home run that Gurriel hit against Clayton Kershaw to tie the game. But I don't even want to talk about that. I want to talk about this totally, completely unacceptable, inappropriate behavior that Yuli Gurriel engaged in.
Right. And this is where I have to recant with the Derek Jeter.
You would never see the Cap do something like that.
Jeter would never do anything like baseball-wise skill set. I will not recant on that. He is just as good as Derek Jeter.
I don't even know why you have to double down on this, Trump.
But with that was so inappropriate and wasn't called for. I don't even know what the purpose was. I've been in the dugouts forever. I've never seen that.
I've never seen
anybody.
And I faced all sorts of international pitchers.
Yeah.
From people from all sorts of different cultures. And I have a serious problem with Major League Baseball's stance. They said, Rob Manfred said that he took a cue from Yu Darvish, which was, Yu Darvish came out with that beautiful statement for anybody who's living under the rock, Yuli Gurriel hit a home run off of Yu Darvish in Game 3, and then in turn mocked him by doing an inappropriate gesture to pointing towards Yu Darvish's eyes. Unacceptable. The cameras caught it, thank God, and it's totally unacceptable. Yu Darvish responded with his initial emotion being frustration, and then he said, you know what? Everybody has bad days. Let's hope that he learns how to grow from this, because I'm sure that the Astros have Asian fans as well. Yeah. Really classy response.
He said everybody makes mistakes, and we should just move on, which is awesome.
Now, the problem is that in tolerating that to make it a suspension for the top of next season, Major League Baseball has actually given a very, very soft stance on that. I personally, as a person of color who played a lot of baseball in Orange County, California, where there is the orange bubble and a lot of white folks who are undercover prejudice, I know what that's like to be alienated in that way, and it's not cool
at all.
And I think that they should have taken a stand. I think they should have suspended him for one game of the World Series, because ultimately he let the team down. He hurt the team with that, because he hurt the sport with that, and he gave the game a black eye with that, and that's not acceptable. And for that punishment to go at the start of the 2018 season, potentially after maybe he'll miss his ring ceremony and miss the parade. No, you know what? You hurt the team, and you should pay for that, and not pay for it in that sense. Suspend him for one World Series game is the equivalent of suspending him for 10 regular season games.
Especially at the pace he's hitting home runs.
Yeah, and everything. I mean, he's a 5'2" guy. He can do it all out there.
Yeah.
And I just have a zero tolerance policy for that sort of buffoonery. I'm very disappointed in Yuli Gurriel. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was
just sitting there watching, like, what is that? What is it about? I couldn't even understand what.
What does that have to do with you hitting a bomb?
Yeah, you just went deep.
Which is the ultimate.
Yeah.
The only thing better than that is knocking somebody out.
Dante, I'm at the mountaintop.
I'm at the mountaintop. Bomb squad. And so I'm very disappointed. Another thing that you brought up that I'm also disappointed by with Major League Baseball is when you watch the coverage, I love David Ortiz. I love Frank Thomas. I love Keith Hernandez. Yeah. I grew up playing with a Keith Hernandez first baseman glove. I love Keith Hernandez.
Right.
Why is Alex Rodriguez on the panel giving baseball advice when he's been a juicer his whole life?
Why are they signing off on that?
Because that's what because they decide to give you a 5-game suspension after the fact is why.
Right. Now, if that's the case, I would rather see Barry Bonds than Alex Rodriguez.
100%.
Come on, man. Alex Rodriguez is sort of patronizing. I don't like his soft approach. I don't even like the way he carries himself around these other players who actually were great without substance abuse.
Exactly.
You can't compare your numbers to the Big Hurt.
And I'm surprised that nobody calls him on that.
Right.
I mean, and part of it is because he has the most career earnings in the history of Major League Baseball, so it's hard for them to say anything when the guy has made $500 million by cheating. Cheating has
and
totally
crazy numbers.
And stupid numbers that stand for some reason. Eventually, they'll vote him into the Hall.
Right.
There is no punishment. Cheating totally and completely prospers nowadays.
So if you're not going to punish him, why is Barry Bonds being left out?
This is what I want to know.
Why is Barry Bonds being left out? Barry Bonds was a better hitter than he was.
Barry Bonds
is the all-time home run leader now.
Now, I wonder if that's a choice from him or them, because, he was.
Barry Bonds wanted in.
Well, he was on the Marlins staff for that year. So he was back in baseball.
They let him back in, but they've actually just dropped A-Rod back into the middle of everything.
They sure have, and fully embraced him.
Giving him a press.
Carte blanche.
He's got carte blanche to do whatever he wants to with baseball.
And we're supposed to take his word like it's Bible.
And not only that, though, he's the kid. Now he wants to have kids look up to him and everything else. So you can teach the kids how to juice in high school?
And I'm going to tell you something. Honest to God, are you crazy? You can give me Pete Rose and his offenses every day of the week before a guy like A-Rod.
Because A-Rod has put up bogus numbers.
And Charlie Hustle didn't do nothing but bang the baseball. He might have bet on himself banging the baseball.
Yeah, I'll bet him going 3 for 4.
Yeah, I bet you I go 3 for 4 today. I bet you that. And then come out and go 5 for 6.
Right.
Because the Big Red Machine's putting up runs, Jack.
Go show you some leather and everything else.
Tough as nails.
Not going to break under pressure like
Ever.
A-Rod. But A-Rod, this is a microcosm of what goes on nowadays in the world when you got all these people who are being rewarded for bad behavior.
Preach.
It's ridiculous. You got the president. You got him. It's just ridiculous. It's going too far. Let a guy like A-Rod sit on the sidelines with his face smashed against the window looking in, just like you do.
And let him enjoy his $500 million
go enjoy your money
from outside.
Exactly, from outside. But guess what? Don't let him into the stadiums and act like he's done something that wasn't inappropriate. He's been wrong for baseball.
He's been bad for baseball. And also he's been bad for the other people who were competing against him
Exactly.
before he became a Major League Baseball star, because there's a guy somewhere right now that's living a life beneath what he should be living because he didn't get the shot to perform in the way that Alex Rodriguez did based on Alex Rodriguez's bogus numbers.
Exactly, but there's a lot of people nowadays that say, hey, man, that guy should have juiced too.
A lot of people say that.
You know, that's how people feel nowadays.
Really sad.
Yeah, it is sad. Because A-Rod should not be rewarded for what he's done in the past.
He's been rewarded financially because ultimately that's what it should be about.
Yeah. He got compensation for that.
He got compensation.
But now what do we do? What do we call this that he's doing now for the World Series?
And he's getting paid for that. Don't sleep. I'm very disappointed in it. I have to be honest. I'm very disappointed in it. Yeah, wow. Well, that's where we are on baseball. Some very interesting storylines going on.
Yeah, let me ask you one question, though. Who do you think is the MVP of the Dodgers if they win it?
That will be revealed tonight and tomorrow. If the Dodgers win the World Series, that person will reveal themselves in Games 6 and 7. 100%. As of right now, I would have to say Justin Turner.
Justin Turner's struggling.
Justin Turner is struggling, but he gets big knocks from time to time.
No, it couldn't be Justin Turner.
Puig?
If I had to pick
Alex Wood?
If I had to pick between Justin Turner and Puig, I would pick Puig. I would take Kike Hernandez over Justin Turner right now. Justin Turner hasn't gotten hit in a long time.
He's been struggling.
He's struggling. Even Cody Bellinger's numbers are better than his, and Cody Bellinger stunk the joint.
Just woke up.
Yeah, he was stinking the joint up.
Yeah, they've been having JT under control.
Yeah.
Might be Chris Taylor, low-key, because Chris Taylor, even though his numbers aren't fantastic, he's been getting big hits. And surprisingly, he coordinated a ball to bounce off of his hat, which was great defense.
That was great defense.
I don't know. I mean, I'm so discombobulated by what's going on with the Dodgers right now. It may end up being a pitcher. I don't know. We're going to see. Hopefully, the beat turns around and it turns out to be Clayton Kershaw, because maybe what happens is that Clayton Kershaw has to go in a Game 7 situation and gives you that shutdown scenario that makes guys great. You know, this is what it is. He could end up, truth be told, if he came back in Game 7 and had to come in and shut it down, he could end up 2-0, 2-0 in the World Series, or 1-0 with a save or something like that. Right. Something crazy. You know what I mean? You just don't know. It's hard to call. But as of right now, the Houston Astros are getting sized up. But this is Major League Baseball. We never know what's going to happen.
Right. One of the best things about the Astros is that, like I tell you all the time, they can hit good pitching, and that's
key.
Yeah, and that's key. That's very rare.
If you name the list of guys that the Astros have banged out over this playoff season, it is like a candidacy for Cy Young's and closer reliever awards.
Yeah.
They got
Bregman
himself. Seriously. He's a one-man wrecking crew, this guy.
He is.
They got to Kimbrel, which is almost impossible. They gave it to Kenley Jansen. They gave it to Clayton Kershaw.
Aroldis.
They gave it to Chris Sale. They gave it to Aroldis Chapman. They gave it to Delene Betances.
Yes.
Who else? They banged out. I think David Price actually shut them down. I think that was the time David Price came in the game. But they gave it to everybody else on the Boston pitching staff.
Right.
I think they didn't give it to Tanaka. Tanaka actually shut them down.
He had done well against them.
Yeah, which was a surprise because both of us thought from
because
historically they own him.
Yeah.
Tanaka made an adjustment because he's a winner.
Yeah.
That was very impressive.
Went to the slide piece. Stayed away from the split B.
He did. And they were surprised. You can see
they're
it.
like, well, what?
And he also went cheese.
Yeah, he threw cheese. And that's rare for him.
It is. He still had that 93
with
just enough. Just enough. All right, folks, let's move on. We gotta get out to the stadium. I want to talk a little bit now about football. The NFL is in a precarious position this year, folks. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the NFL, and it continued this week with the Houston Texans owner, which has resulted also in some mid-season NFL moves, which never happen.
Right, and they don't even make sense, most of these trades.
Well, and you know what? The Texans traded Dwayne Brown. Dwayne is a monster, first and foremost. Secondly, I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe even demanded that because he's a leader and he's not a guy that messes around. He's not, you know what I mean? He doesn't want to be around that nonsense. Yeah. See what Trucker Dave has to say about it.
Fellas, what's going on?
Trucker Dave, live in the OZone. What's going on with you?
Oh, not too much. What's happening, you guys?
Oh, man, we're covering this incredible World Series. Who do you got coming out on top? Houston's up 3-2. Do the Dodgers have a comeback in them, or do you think it's all Houston all day?
Well, you know what? This one is so unpredictable. It's really, really hard to say. But with Verlander going on the mound, wow. I don't know. It's going to be hard to beat Houston. But it
it's
seems
an
like
uphill
pitching
battle.
it seems like pitching doesn't matter anymore. So we'll see.
Change.
I will say this to defend Clayton Kershaw. Everybody talks about Clayton Kershaw being different in the postseason than he is in the regular season. Save for about 3 innings, he's the same guy. But as for Sunday, I'll give this defense. Nobody got anybody out on Sunday. Not just Clayton Kershaw.
Nobody.
No pitcher could get any hitter out on Sunday. And that's just, it is what it
agree
is.
with you.
Kenley.
I mean, Kenley Jansen can't get you out. You're not going to get out. Dallas Keuchel couldn't get anybody out. Nobody could get anybody out. But what we wanted to talk to you about was your specialty, was the National Football League. We got a lot of things happening. And we have the controversy that's constantly swirling around the NFL right now, but then we also have a situation that just puts fuel on the fire. Houston Texans owner decided to come out of his face with a very clear comparison that showed his thought process and the thought process of the individuals who dedicated millions of dollars to the Donald Trump election campaign, which was the statement of saying, hey, we can't have the inmates running around here running the prison.
I saw that, and it was, very offensive to those inmates. They got really upset by that. I just thought that he just said what he really felt, and you know what? I was always under the impression, how can you get mad at a person for saying what they feel?
Well, I mean, that doesn't. To me, you can get really mad at them because there's a lot of people who say things that are absolutely outrageous. I mean,
And that's outrageous, especially in this climate.
and it's inflammatory on purpose.
Oh, it is. I mean, but why should he have to apologize? That's how he feels. He feels like they're basically prisoners. You guys are the inmates. You're just a number, and that's how they're trading people. That's amazing to me. I mean, you look at a guy like Big Jimmy down there in New England. And they're just like, you know what, you're just a piece of meat. While Tom Brady's deteriorating every week, you got the future right there. So,
and they get rid of him. And there's a lot of in-season trades. Now I'm wondering if Dwayne Brown's trade actually has anything to do with this controversy.
I think it has a lot to do with the controversy, and you can tell that he doesn't really want somebody that has a voice behind him, and so he's willing to get rid of one of the top 10
linemen
left
in the
tackles
game.
Football.
And this is exactly what I just said to T before you called. I said that Dwayne is a no-nonsense kind of dude who doesn't mess around.
Oh, yeah.
He has a voice. His wife has a voice as well, actually. She has her own following because she was a radio DJ. That's how they met. And she was a very popular radio DJ down in Houston. And she spoke out immediately. And I feel like this trade absolutely has to do with that. They're showing you that they're willing to hurt the team, the bottom line of the team, which then in turn might end up in Deshaun Watson getting hurt.
That's true.
Well, you know what? It's just back to the numbers again. They're looking at the draft. They'll say, well, we'll just draft another tackle. You know what I mean? It goes back to you're just a number instead of being a person. That was my whole point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at the people as what they can bring to the team. They're being honest, and he's a person. He has feelings. So when you say something like that, it hurts him. But my whole point was like, that's how he feels. I mean, it's kind of better to know how the people feel than not to know.
For sure. But I'm a firm believer that in that old quote that if you're a fool, it's better to keep your mouth shut and keep it in question as opposed to opening it and erasing all doubt.
But you know what, though? When these guys, with all the power that they have and all the money that they have, they feel like they can say whatever, they can do whatever, and there's no consequences or repercussions. Yeah, and this is why the NFL sort of is weak in a sense, because the players' union and everybody else, when something comes out like that, that's not just on the Texans. That should be on the whole league. They should all come out and be upset. It shouldn't be just one team or one person or anybody. It should be the whole league that's upset, and it should be the whole league that stands up for something. And everybody looks at this as entertainment, but now we see that it's crossing the lines. And if it crosses the lines, then we need to, we the people need to quit supporting things like that.
Yeah. I just heard about this guy in New York who just said that he was in the cab and he said, I'm a football fan of the NFL, and the cab driver told him to get out of his cab.
Wow.
Like, some people are so offended by, these statements or even the guys protesting. And I think if anybody should be offended, it should be, like I was telling T, like guys like me and him who've actually served in the military.
I agree.
I'm not even offended.
Yeah, I'm not offended. I'm not offended.
Yeah, and a lot of veterans are not offended. So that this is
it's your choice.
They've successfully, and it starts from the top with President Cheeto, and who knows how much longer he'll be out of handcuffs, but it starts from the top with him, and he has set the tone of lying and propaganda to make this to appear to make this about something that it's not. And so it's another diversion tactic. We were talking about how difficult it is to get people to tell the truth nowadays, and it's amazing how that Winston Churchill quote that a lie runs around the whole world before the truth has a chance to put his pants on, and it is
that's a good one.
It is, and it's the truth. This kind of propaganda and all this other stuff, it's a problem. Now back to the actual brass tacks of the NFL. I have to say, I was pretty disappointed in the Oakland Raiders this past weekend, even though we're going through a divorce.
I haven't heard you speak about them in a little while either.
I've told you, I'm going through a divorce. I'm trying to find a new team right now. I wanted to support the Dolphins, but then they signed Jay Cutler. And now they got rid of Jay Ajayi for some reason. We got a lot of trades, a lot of midseason trades, which you don't really see in the NFL happening. What do you think is the reason for that shakeup?
Well, you know what? I think this is the most activity that football's had in a while because there's nothing like the trading deadline in baseball. They're talking about basketball, but to me, baseball really brings it. But the NFL made some big moves this trade deadline, and I was really surprised. I mean, to trade Jay Ajayi for a fourth-round draft pick, what's the consensus? I don't get that.
I don't understand it either because you're talking about an unproven product and you're giving up one of the best running backs that'll have an offensive line now, and you're giving him up for nothing for a fourth-round pick that you don't know what you're going to get.
Fourth-round draft pick. I just don't get it. So I don't understand that trade.
There's just bad logic going on in general. There's just a lot of it around the league.
Honestly,
why is Trevor Siemian still starting?
Exactly.
I don't know. And if anybody should have made that trade, it should have been Denver. You could at least got A.J. McCarron out of Cincinnati for.
They could have got.
Siemian.
Why couldn't they get Garoppolo if he was on the market?
Well, Bill Belichick probably wouldn't trade him to the AFC. You know,
maybe
just in case he'll have to face him again. But you could get a guy that like A.J. McCarron that can make your team, somewhat stable until you go back into the draft and see what. Coming out next year with Sam Darnold and a couple of these other guys like Rosen and all of these guys. But it's everything's changing every day, man. It's really amazing.
Everything's changing.
I mean, Calvin Benjamin got traded for nothing.
I know, man.
For nothing.
This is the part that I don't understand. Why?
Why would you do that? He's a number one receiver. I don't understand. Maybe there's something that's going on behind the scenes that we don't know, but I don't understand why you give up Calvin Benjamin for a draft pick. He's a proven product.
It's kind of like what O's saying, too. Like, they don't want people to, maybe if you're a little bit boisterous, they don't like that. They get him out of here.
Yep, it's the truth.
So I think there's some credibility in that.
Wow. All right, Trucker Dave, appreciate you calling in. Midpoint of the NFL season, who do you like so far? Who do you like coming out of the AFC, and who do you like coming out of the NFC?
Well, you know what? People really have to give Deshaun Watson his credit, even though they didn't really want to. But the guy just passed Kurt Warner in the most touchdown passes by a rookie in 8 games. He's got 19 touchdown passes. That's unbelievable, man. So I like in the AFC, I like them, but he doesn't have experience. We'll have to see what Pittsburgh does. Of course, in the NFC, I really like what the Eagles are doing, especially when you pick up Jay Ajayi, because now you're going to be able to run the ball if you can't pass the ball, and you got a good defense with Fletcher Cox. I really like what Philadelphia's doing. AFC.
I really like Philadelphia. Yeah. Philadelphia looks serious, and Carson Wentz looks very serious, very determined.
Yeah, he does, man. I believe that guy, him and Deshaun Watson, I believe those two guys in the future can win you a Super Bowl. I believe they can.
Right, they have what it takes.
Yeah, I believe they got what it takes.
Trucker Dave, where are you out in the roads nowadays?
Well, we're in Norfolk, Virginia. Beautiful Norfolk. Weather's great. Beautiful lakes. Beautiful out here, man.
Well, God bless you, brother. Take care out there on the road, and you are always welcome in the OZone. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, guys.
Late.
Fantastic insight from Trucker Dave, and it's absolutely true what he's saying. It's more important to silence those voices than it is to win football games or make money or anything else, because we know that it all comes back to winning and money. But now we're seeing a new wrinkle, which is actually an old wrinkle, is that it always all comes back to power.
And control.
And control. Wow. And control.
And the man's thumb on your neck.
Brother. and it's kill, kill, kill.
Dang, gong, bong, da-dong, gong, gong, gong.
Thrill, thrill, thrill.
Dong, bong, dong, da-dong, dong, dong, dong.
Chaos rules. Anybody who doesn't know, that's an excerpt from one of our favorite shows from Don Adams. R.I.P. Don Adams for Get Smart. Tremendous show that ran in the 70s, folks. It's a great show.
They're saying, you hear what they're saying in the NFL, though, that Colin Kaepernick might have a job in the next 10 days.
Wow. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. His lawyer was reporting that, said he feels like he's expecting Kaepernick to sign a contract within 10 days.
Well, that would be interesting if that stops any kind of protesting. I don't know what's going to happen.
Indeed.
The whole situation is messed up. What is this thing about Zach Miller breaking his leg or losing his leg?
Zach Miller, the tight end for the Chicago Bears, he caught a pass. It was a great catch, and the NFL ruled that it wasn't a catch on the defense. But if you watch the highlight of it, you'll see that his leg got bent backwards.
Ooh.
His whole leg, and just twisted his knee or whatever. They said that it did something to his artery or something, and they ended up taking him to emergency surgery after he stayed on the field for a little while. But that night, he was in danger of losing his leg. Literally, they were talking about amputating his leg.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I've never heard about that. Anything like that in football?
Not in football, but when your body gets bent certain ways, that's like when people get ran over by cars and X, Y, and Z. There's delicate behavior going on inside your body.
You should look at should and you shouldn't. But his knee got completely twisted, mangled. And it was a great catch, too, and they ruled the catch off as well.
NFL just can't win for losing nowadays.
Right?
How about that monster game up in Seattle?
Oh, my goodness, that was a shootout. Russell Wilson could be the MVP of the league.
He has really turned his game up.
Because Deshaun Watson threw all those touchdowns, and Russell Wilson still beat him. He had 452 yards.
Russell Wilson was like, oh, we need another one? No problem.
Yeah.
Let me strap on my helmet.
And Houston has great defense. They have above-average defense, and he shredded them.
I mean, carved.
And regardless of whatever happens, Russell Wilson is always up for the task.
You can't say enough about that guy as
He's
a guy
solid,
or as a player.
Yeah, he's solid. He's a solid individual.
Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, on the line, the heavyweight champion of the world. Here come the champ, Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder.
What's up, man? What's up?
Man, so happy to have you. I'm Big O. I'm here with my brother, Terry Miller.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Man, ain't nothing much blessings, bro.
Bless
all
up.
around.
Except for when you drop them 1s and 2s on people. You blessing people with the knockout drops.
Well, that's baptizing them.
Not in the spirit, though, right?
That's baptism by fire right there, Jack. Oh, man. Well, let me tell you something. We're going to read off some of your accomplishments. This ain't the time to be bashful. It is for you, but not for us. This is the champ, ladies and gentlemen. He's 38-0. He's got 37 knockouts, and he's looking to avenge the one man who actually went the distance with him this weekend. He brought the belt back to the United States of America, and he actually has done his part in reviving the sport of boxing. Tay, I got to tell you, one thing that I love about you, and I loved about you from the word go, is you come off like a real dude. You come off like a real humble dude, and you come off like an individual that recognizes the prized possession of the heavyweight belt. And as a fellow American, I appreciate you bringing it back home.
Oh, man, appreciate it, man. And, I just be me. At the end of the day, I be me, and I stay in my lane. I treat people with respect. They respect me, man. I love everybody, and I come in peace. And that's what the world needs, man. It just need peace. I love my occupation. I can whoop butt. But at the same time, man, I come in peace, and I want everybody to do well and do great. And being able to have this WBC belt has been an American here, you know what I mean? And it's been a great possession of mine. And I just want to, but I want more, though. I want to unify. And that's what I'm looking for, to unify.
And this is what we want to talk about. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, the good is as aforementioned, you baptize people with that right hand and they go to sleep and they find the Lord. It take them about a minute usually, but they find the Lord. And one thing that I say I really like about you, man, is that in the world of heavyweights who refuse to get in shape, you've been able to come into fights in shape and dominate with your athleticism. I think that that's something that's really important to point out, because your competition in the heavyweight division, the guys that you've beat up on, some of them have come in sloppy, and you've made them pay for it. And your main nemesis right now is a guy that's in crazy shape. But I have to be honest, he doesn't seem like the most athletic individual in Anthony Joshua. It's been a war of words lately. I've heard all the talk. I want to get your take straight from the horse's mouth. Do you think he's scared? Do you think it's hype? Or do you think it's just a promotional thing why they won't make the fight with you?
Man, as a fighter, as a fighter to another fighter, it takes a lot of nerves. It takes a lot of heart, you know what I mean, to get up in that ring like that. And so I wouldn't say he's scared, but I definitely say he's nervous, man. It's something about them. Him and his promoter, they're so nervous. You know, they know that I could be the end factor of this little organization they got going on in England was dealing with Joshua, you know. And it's just, they're making up so many excuses. I never heard a champion ever in history talk about, you know, not having lack of confidence. You know, this man talking about, I don't know if I'm going to be ready next year or 2009 or 2020. I want to put myself in a better position to be able to beat Wilder. And you just don't talk like that. Or he don't even say he's the best. You know, I mean, look at past history with Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, and even coming from England, Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis would have never not say he's the best, or he would have never not accepted a challenge like that. And man, these are the times that we're in, man, with these so-called champions. They don't want to fight. They rather build their resume. They rather hold on to what they got going on. See, he's in heaven where he is, so he's getting satisfied. He's so satisfied in being fulfilled with all this right here, which that ain't nothing. The mega of boxing will always be in America.
100%.
The money will always be in America. It looks good over there. That picture looks good, but it ain't what it is. Let me see the real. We know the real numbers. We know the real truth. And that's the thing about it. They want to hide away from it. They want to say all these different things, but forget all that. Let's make this fight happen. Like I said, I declare war upon him, and that's what I want. Do he accept?
I hear you.
Let me ask you this. Now, would Vegas be a place that you would want to fight him in, or would you fight him in like a big arena that he just fought in this weekend?
Bro, my title says the heavyweight champion of the world. So with that being said, I would travel anywhere. Look, I was going to Russia with Povetkin. What happened?
He was scared,
You
and
know?
he had to
He
needle
was
up.
scared.
That's it.
He
So,
had
okay,
to
now
needle up.
that's the other piece I want to speak on. Now, with Joshua, in general in boxing, we speak on it a lot, man. In general, I actually hate the fact that everybody wants to protect their undefeated record so thoroughly that they rob the fans of fighting each other in what would be the best fights. Now, I'm telling you how I feel about it. Now, Joshua and Klitschko to me was the fight of the year so far. I have to be honest. And my brother took Joshua, I took Klitschko, and honest to God, I thought Klitschko had him. He had him. He couldn't get him out of there. That age, but it is what it is. My point is, nowadays the undefeated record seems to be more important than the joy of competition, which ultimately brings you more money when you fight the people that you're supposed to fight. How have you avoided running in the division? Because I've been following you for a long time. I remember when you called out Klitschko and he went and decided he wanted to fight Fury and got beat up. I remember when you've called out all of these guys, and I have to be honest with you, champ, my biggest concern is you can't get enough rounds to stay as sharp as you could be to your top potential. How do you deal with that?
Man, it's just even when you mentioning that, bring me down back in memory lane, although I brings it up all the time too, but just to hear it from another person, to see what's going on and to understand and realize what's going on, man, it's crazy. It make me shake my head, you know, because I have called out the best of the best that boxing has to offer. A lot of people don't know. Some just coming in, some just now understanding what's going on in boxing. But when it comes to Deontay Wilder has called everybody, the best of the best have called out. And man, it's sad that these guys try to protect their record, man, because I'm willing to put this belt on the line. I'm willing to put this record on the line for any heavyweight, anyone they call the best. I'm willing to put that on the line because I know I'm the best. I know I can do what I know I'm capable of doing what I'm doing, and I do it each and every time. And when you have an organization going on like they got going on in England, it's best that you keep a clean record. It's best that you go all around. Don't you look at the fight? Didn't you see the ref he been trying to get from the fourth round on. He been trying to make that fight stop. He tried to stop that fight.
He tried to get Takam to quit. He straight up tried to ask him in the fourth round, "Are you quitting?" And Takam was looking at him like, "What? I'm in the fight."
Look at all the breaks that he gave. Look at all the breaks that was in between the fight as well too, because the boy got stamina problems as well too. You know, anything to keep it squeaky clean, to keep this money coming in, that's what it's about. Eddie Hearns don't really care about them fighters for real, man. You talking about a spoiled brat as a promoter that grew up with money ever since he was a boy, that his father gave the company to him, and now what he's doing. So if a person grew up with money, all they gonna see is money. They rather put money over loyalty at any day, and and that's what he's seeing. You know, that's why they're making so many excuses. That's why they know when it comes to Deontay Wilder, this man can stop everything that we're doing and what we're building, and that's why they're so hesitant. You know, and it's just sad, man. I'm just ready to get it on. I'm representing America as a black man, and it's just time. It's time.
Yeah, but now let me ask you this: so if you went, would you fight him in England?
I'll go anywhere. Like I said, I'll go anywhere because they're making so many excuses. Now it's seeming like that's where we're going to have to go. First, they was talking about America. Now they're talking about, no, we just should stay here, mate. We should stay here.
Come on, mate. Give it a go.
And you know what, though? But I hear Eddie Hearn, and I hear what he says. I've never met Eddie Hearn before. And I watch a lot of the videos of him talking and so on and so forth. He's trying to negotiate the purse in public and the whole song and dance. And, ain't none of that right.
But my thing is that if he goes to a place like England and fights, do you feel like you would get a fair shake if it went the distance?
Right. Because this is my concern, too. I wanted to say that because we're seeing that in the middleweight division as well. There's a lot of suspect activity that seems to be happening across the pond.
Yeah, for sure. But to be honest, I just don't fathom my brain around it. I don't worry about if I'm gonna get cheated or the judges or the pen, because it's a lot of that goes, man. People don't understand in boxing. It's a real business, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy business. A lot of backdoor scene things goes on. Anybody gonna put that fight in a position of winning, but with our situation, I'm blessed with power. I'm blessed with athleticism. I'm blessed with having an IQ. My team have the foremost high confidence in me that I could take any man now, so that for that reason, I'm ready for wherever. Like I said, I was going to, out of all the countries, I was going to Russia.
Yeah.
And I know Russia don't like you Americans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You knew you had to put him to sleep. Now tell me this, this is a side note, did you ever hoop?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I did it through all of my high school years and stuff like that, but man, this is my calling right here.
No doubt about it. I'm just saying the way that you move. Honest to God, I got a lot of respect for Anthony Joshua. He showed me a lot in that Klitschko fight. I was surprised. But the fight I saw last weekend seemed like he took a step backwards, honest to God. Even though Takam put a lot of pressure on him, busted his nose and blah, 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 he just didn't look right. And I heard you in an interview say something that was very interesting, which was about all that extra muscle. You're lean, you're light. You look like you could go dunk on somebody because you're athletic. That stiffness.
I dunk on 3 people.
I don't know. They got to go low on you, low bridge.
But I really believe that's going to be a key to your longevity. Now, the record's already stacking up. 38 wins is a lot of wins. I want to speak about the fight this weekend because I want to help promote it. I don't want to overlook anybody, anything. You got to fight the only man that went the distance with you in Bermain Stiverne this weekend. This is another situation, in my opinion, where boxing is full of crap because I don't know how he's the mandatory challenger after not fighting for 2 years and not looking great in his last fight. So you're going to fight Bermain again. Obviously, the goal is to win. Is your goal to put him to sleep this time so that you can avenge that one that you don't have?
Oh, most definitely. That would make this fight so exciting. And I tell people that's why they should come or watch this fight, just for the simple fact that when people get dressed, they come and see a heavyweight fight. They come to see the knockouts. No question. With any fight, really, but especially with the big boys. And Stiverne was the only one to escape. I beat him to an inch of his life. Like I said,
he looked bad.
I would.
He looked. You made him look.
That jab was real.
That jab is real. Hey, let me tell you something. Stiverne is not. He's not a bum. He went. No. I mean, you made him look bad. I ran all over Miami. I was in Miami shooting ballers. I ran all over Miami because the hotel didn't have Showtime. I ran all over the place to try to catch that fight, man. And I caught the last 7 rounds. And I said, "Oh my goodness, this is Deontay Wilder putting a hurting on this boy."
Man, hey, you came in the right time though, because that 7th round, I came out with 11 jabs.
and it was stiff on him. It was stiff on him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, I was having too much fun, man. You know, if I'm gonna risk my life and put my life on the line, and then I'm gonna have fun doing it. You know what I mean? Because I'm a type of person. I'm not scared of death, because death is something that's automatic. That's gonna come. The only thing we can do is prepare for it in the best way we can. So the best way I prepare for it in the ring is to have fun doing it. I'm gonna smile if I'm going out. But you know, we come to destroy the opponent. You know, my mindset is to hurt you as bad as I can in there. And that's why it's so brutal, because if any other fighter have the mindset that I have, what I want to do to a fighter, man, my God, man, it's
But that's how you got to be.
Man,
Hey, let me ask you
got
this.
to.
Let me ask you this. Do you consider yourself the pound for pound?
Best fighter in the
I
world?
mean, I can't say it yet, because I can't say it because I haven't fought the best in the world yet. You know what I mean? I haven't had that opportunity.
And not by choice. Exactly. You just need the chance.
Yes.
I'm a firm
need the
believer in every single sport, you need somebody else to bring the best out of you. Now, the one knock that my brother here has ever said about you is that you fight to the level of your competition.
Yes.
When you fighting Stivern, you stepped up and you made him eat that jab and you punished him.
Yes.
To me, the fact that you always got to fight somebody at the last minute, like the dude Gerald Washington that jumped in, you know, there's some people you had to fight late that you don't really get to prepare for. That puts you, sets you behind a little bit. But also speak to that, to the discipline that it takes, because I believe that there's greatness inside of you, Tay. I'm telling you the real. I believe it's there.
Oh man,
I really do.
And, you know, and I'm gonna show you come November the 4th on Showtime at the Barclays Center what Deontay really is all about. You know, I can box my ass off, man. That's no problem. But your brother definitely right. I definitely fight to the level of my opposition. You know, if I don't have to do much work, then why do it? Like I said, if it's not broken, then why fix it? You know what I mean? But if I get a serious guy that I know serious and I feel threatened by, you're gonna see a whole different work come out of me. You know what I mean? And that's how I am. But you know, because everybody want to be technical fighter, everybody want to be for the people instead of just doing what you know how to do. I'm different, and people don't understand different. The thing that I have going against me, I'm long, I'm powerful, and I'm awkward. I'm very awkward, and they can't figure that out. So many people think it's just it's right, but it's more than that. It's more than that when it comes to me. They can't never figure me out, and for that reason, I love my style. I love what I do in the ring, and you know, come Saturday, I'm gonna show people what boxing look like when it comes to Deontay Wilder. If they enjoyed the first fight,
and I enjoyed the first fight. I can't wait. That's why I want to promote this fight, is because I love to watch you work. I love to watch you work, brother. I love what you're doing there. We ain't going to keep you all day. We just got a couple more questions. One of the callers actually called in and asked a question. Can you pull up the voicemail? But I have one for you that actually ain't got nothing to do with right now. Growing up, like, it looks as though you look like you're in great condition, but you grow up, and that's why I asked you about being a basketball player. Growing up, who was your favorite heavyweight, or who was your favorite boxer of all time?
My favorite boxer of all time, and he's also my idol as well too. Muhammad Ali for sure, and Tommy Hearns was one of my favorites as well. But Muhammad,
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see the hitman in you, a big version of the hitman.
Long, rangy, and when he hit your ass, it's over.
It's over.
You know
The hitman and major heart.
Yeah. So, but Muhammad Ali was definitely my idol. And when it comes to being in shape and stuff like that, I want to address that, you know, because a lot of people see me and like, you a heavyweight? Oh yeah, I'm a heavyweight. Because they already have that persona of being big and muscular and stuff like that. And I tell people, I look them in the eyes, I say, I'd rather be the part than look the part. How many guys you know have looked the part of doing something, but be the weakest one in the crowd?
That's the real, including in the ring. I remember a few years ago, it was the young brother that came out of Michigan State, and he used to be a linebacker. He was super ripped up. I think his brother's name was Sean Washington. I think that was his name. And he had a little early success, and then he ran into some people who were the part as opposed to who looked the part, and that ended his run, man. And I agree with you. I think that you are the real deal. I appreciate what it is that you bring to the table. And I also wanted to say, honestly, other than Stivern, I would say the best fight that you had that I loved watching was that fight against Splitska, man, because he just knew he was in the fight until he didn't even see the punch to put him to sleep.
Man, it's crazy. And, this is the same thing. That's what it comes with the IQ of boxing and the smartness, because I'm always thinking in the ring. I'm always plotting. I'm always looking at different situations and stuff like that. And the Spuka, definitely being in Brooklyn, man, they showed me hell of a love like that. It was crazy because
They showed love. They going to show love this Saturday, too. What?
Man, what?
Alabama worldwide, baby. Why not?
So, but, yeah, with the Spuka, he was very, you don't get too many southpaws in the heavyweight division, and before him I hadn't sparred a fought in 3 years with a southpaw, and then he coming in stupid awkward.
He comes in awkward. He moved weird.
Man, it made it exciting. But even with the Gerald Washington fight, I had him delusional in there. I had him thinking that he was in the ring, in the fight and stuff like that until the fourth round. That's when I picked everything up because I knew he was going to be excited. Look, the guy even had emotion. He cried at the press conference because he was so happy.
Wow.
So I knew then, he got his family here, his girls here, his dad, all
He's
of them
emotional.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what? He coming to fight. So I had to let him think he was in the fight until the fourth round. When I figured him out, when I let that energy run, that excitement energy, I call it, then that's when the pressure came on, and that's when the opening. Because I saw many things, I had to wait. And sometimes people, when it comes to me, even with their opponents, it's just like with Berman. A lot of people thought Berman was going to beat me at first. Oh, this is the best test. I beat him. After that, he becomes a bomb. Every time I fight a guy, they become a bomb. But then it's crazy. I forgot what I was gonna say next, man.
No, but that's the truth. I hear you, bro. Well, look here. We're not, like I said, we ain't gonna take up your whole day. We're gonna play this call. We told some people you were calling in. The caller had a question for you, and then that'll be all we got for you, champ. Here you go.
Oh, Terry, this is Boach. This question's for Deontay Wilder. Deontay, how do you think you match up with AJ?
Oh,
do you think you can take him out?
We already covered that. I thought he had a different question. Now, I tell you what, this weekend, November 4th, if you're in Brooklyn, scramble out there and get yourself a ticket. The American heavyweight champion of the world, the baddest man on the planet, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, will be fighting Bermane Stivern to defend his championship belt once again and to further his cause to unify all of the belts in the heavyweight division. Deontay, you are a friend and family of the OZone. My brother, you invited to the barbecue. You can come eat up all the food when you ain't training. Our mama can burn, and you got my word on that. You come out west, you ring my bell, brother. God bless you this weekend and beyond.
Man, blessing to you guys both, man, and much peace, baby. Bomb Squad!
Let's do it.
All right, now.
All right, bro.
It was great having the champ on. And it's a trip, though, because him speaking about his athleticism, but him speaking about fighting to the level of his competition, that's great. He's so honest. Yeah. How can you not like that guy?
How can you not like that? It's refreshing.
It is refreshing because athletes never want to do that.
And mostly anybody nowadays wants to tell the truth.
Wow, preach.
Yeah, honesty is...
It's few and far between nowadays. It's very...
a problem nowadays.
It is. It's very hard to come across.
He's just like he's talking about guys wanting to fight him.
And guys want the juice that needs the help.
Come on.
Yeah, that's wow.
He's a great champ right now. And it's unfortunate that there's not a lot of talent out there or a lot of competition for him. And even if he does feel like he has some kind of competition, the guys are doing something underhanded to not even get in the ring with him. I agree, though, that they should get an L. It's got to be some kind of punishment. You can't just say, okay, well, get out of here then, you crazy kids.
Yeah, there's got to be something, and then you never know. Your theory might pop up because he's going to get somebody here on that. It's a good idea. Then somebody going to end up in prison. Because that,
I don't know. That might be too far.
He's going to put you in jail.
But he
has a valid point when he broke it down.
You can kill somebody.
You can kill somebody.
Those are the big boys.
Let's see what else we got. We got some information popping off on the college football front. Man, the lines are hot today. They also might need to start doing more than one episode a week.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Next victim, live in the OZone.
What up?
What's up, her?
Oh, next victim, we got to make it quick. We need the college report ASAP because we're actually about to head down to Chavez Ravine.
Oh, y'all nasty.
There we go. We're nasty.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we go to the World Series. That's real nasty.
We go to the World Series, and we're nasty. All right. You're going to lose your segment soon. What's wrong with you?
So stop talking about Chavez Ravine right now. So college football. What happened in Week 10?
What happened in Ohio State? What happened to Penn State? What happened?
Man, it was just a good game. Ohio State, they got that early loss early in the season, and sometimes that helps with the BCS standards and the BCS playoff picture. So Ohio State actually just won the game. Good game, back and forth. They stopped the Penn State run, and that was just enough. The tight end for Ohio State got the touchdown, and they Ohio up from number 6 to number 3. Penn State dropped. I think that they're at number 6 now. A lot of good things going on in college football last week. One of my squads, number 15, Washington, lost to Arizona. Arizona goes into USC, who is playing pretty good this time around. After I called the bad call before going on a vacation, I said USC was going to put hands at Notre Dame, and that didn't happen. So maybe USC will pull something off against Arizona this week. Real quick, got Clemson going at North Carolina State. Should be a good game. Got University of Miami playing. TCU actually lost. TCU was ranked number 2, and they lost to Iowa State at Iowa State, which is a tough team to beat on the road at their home. Big games coming up this weekend, though. So Oklahoma, number 8. My young Sooners is playing at number 11, OK State. Oklahoma won over Texas Tech last week. Wisconsin and Notre Dame's. Georgia's number 2, looking real strong in the SEC conference. Bama is playing at number 9, Virginia Tech.
Do you think that there's a chance that VTech comes out with that dub? That's actually this game I wanted to speak on.
That is going to be a great game. I think VTech will get Bama.
You think they're going to pull that upset off?
I think so. And the reason why, Bama has a couple players that's suspended.
Wow.
So I'm going with VTech. I called early on when VTech, when Clemson had played against VTech, and I went with Clemson, but we said that VTech was just a dangerous team. And them Hokies, I'm not. I think it's in Blacksburg, Virginia too. So that's going to be a problem. A hell of a road game for Bama to go in there and win. So I'm rolling with VTech. That's my big picks.
Ooh, we're going to see if you can keep it alive. Keep it alive, Victor. Yeah. Where do they find you on the internet?
I'm at under the OZone. You find my name at Next Victim at Twitter. So you can hit me up. Please hit me up. I'm looking for some followers. I'm looking to chat a little bit more, not just only on the OZone to the millions and billions and trillions and very, very, very popular people, but just little sidebar conversations about sports and anything else.
There we go. It's an intelligent brother. And I heard you worked on your tan this weekend, Victim. How was the trip?
Yeah, the trip was awesome. Real relaxed. Got me a Dominican tan and a Puerto Rican tan. And
so you got a Broner tan. A Broner package.
Yeah,
Who you got tonight? Game 6, World Series. Are the Dodgers coming back and pushing this thing 7, or is it lights out?
Lights out. James Toney, it is lights out.
Whatever, Victim. I'll talk to you later.
All right, enjoy it.
All right, now, go. Ladies and gentlemen, what a great addition of the OZone. Very spirited, very bright. I have to say, we miss a lot within the context of a week because it's a long time. But there's one thing I just wanted to add before I get out of here. I am extremely surprised that Joe Girardi was fired by the New York Yankees. As everybody knows, I support the Yankees as well as supporting the Dodgers. And seeing Joe Girardi, who has done nothing but win, and even the bad moves that he's made pretty much have been seemingly swallowed up by, like that when he didn't make that challenge call or whatever. They still won that series. They beat the best team in baseball, in my opinion. He just took his team to a Game 7 2 years ahead of schedule, 1 year if you're really aggressive. Game 7 to be 27 outs away from the World Series. The players, the young players, they bought in. Why do you get rid of Joe Girardi other than some sort of personal beef? And who do you sign? Who out there is better right now than Joe Girardi? We can go pick up Dusty Baker?
Right. Especially since a guy like Joe Girardi's come up through that system. He's been there with Jeter and everybody. I don't understand that move. It was completely off.
There's something
he was surprised,
about
he said.
Joe Girardi, because he also got fired down in Miami after winning Coach of the Year. Something like that. I don't know what it is.
I think he's hard-nosed, and nowadays with the soft approach to everything and everything being politically correct and you not stepping on toes or whatnot, he's at the point, he's at that crossroad, whereas he's going to either have to start being like a little bit, what do you call it, tempered or whatnot.
Yeah, and I don't think he's interested in that.
And I don't think he's interested in that, although I don't think that this decision was up to him in any kind of way.
Yeah.
But it's going to hurt their organization. I feel like it's going to take their growth back, to where it should have been at this point. Because he actually got along with his players. His players really respected him.
Right. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, we're headed to the ravine. By the time you guys hear this, you may have a new World Series champion. I'm your host, Omar Miller, folks. I'm going to leave you with a quote from Benjamin Franklin, the man on the face of the $100 bill. And he said, he that can have patience can have what he will. Stay patient, folks, especially if you're sitting in traffic. God bless you. This is the OZone. Peace. OZone.